The mall went silent. Shoppers stopped mid-step as the sharp echo of boots carried down the polished corridor. A teenage girl stood frozen, her eyes lowered, while the officer beside her howled with laughter, mocking the claim she had whispered moments earlier. "Special forces," she had said. To him it was a joke too absurd to believe. To the onlookers it was entertainment, another reason to smirk. But then a figure appeared at the far end. Camouflage uniform, broad shoulders, a walk that shifted. The air, the laughter faltered. Truth was coming. Welcome, story lovers. Comment your city below. Amara wasn't the kind of teenager who stood out. She walked through the mall quietly, earbuds tucked away so she could hear the hum of life around her. She liked blending into the background, becoming almost invisible in the noise of shoppers, music, and clattering footsteps. To strangers, she was simply another girl in jeans and sneakers, carrying a shopping bag and minding her own business. But Amara's life wasn't ordinary. Her mother didn't spend evenings gossiping with neighbors or attending bake sales. She lived by a different rhythm, one of discipline, sacrifice, and missions that stretched across continents. Amara had grown up with military time instead of bedtime stories, with goodbyes that lingered longer than she liked, and with a deep respect for silence. Most people wouldn't believe it if she told them. They expected women like her mother to be figures from movies, not reality. So Amara learned to keep it to herself. Yet on this day, surrounded by strangers and a mocking officer, her truth was forced into the open, and nothing would ever be the same. The moment began innocently enough. Amara lingered by the cafe, watching families chat over pastries and lattes. She envied their normalcy. That was when the officer noticed her, standing alone, quiet, almost too quiet. At first, his voice carried casual authority. "Where's your parent?" he asked. Amara lifted her chin slightly and replied, "My mom's at work. She's in the Special Forces." The words left her lips softly, but they were loud enough to ignite laughter. The officer bent back, clutching his stomach, his booming chuckle bouncing against glass walls. Heads turned, people slowed their pace, curious. Whispers rose like a tide. To them, it was unbelievable. A shy teenager with a quiet presence, claiming her mother served in an elite force? Impossible. A couple near the escalator chuckled. Two teenagers pointed and laughed. Every reaction carved deeper into Amara's chest. Her pulse raced. She wanted to vanish. Her claim, something sacred, something she'd rarely shared, was now entertainment. The officer leaned casually against the railing, shaking his head with mock pity. "Too many movies," he muttered loudly, ensuring everyone could hear. Each word pierced her pride. Her heart sank, but her body refused to move. She stayed rooted in place, head lowered, shoulders stiff. Inside, a storm built. Shame, anger, and the faint spark of defiance. And then, silence. It wasn't sudden. It crept in, replacing laughter with hushed gasps. People turned toward the far corridor. Amara followed their gaze, her breath caught. A figure emerged, each step deliberate, boots striking the floor like a drumbeat. The camouflage uniform fitted perfectly, tactical gear strapped across broad shoulders. The woman's presence filled the space before she even reached them. Authority radiated from her stride. The air shifted. Shoppers stepped back instinctively, parting without being asked. The mocking laughter that had dominated moments earlier dissolved into uneasy quiet. The officer straightened, his smile faltering. For the first time, uncertainty flickered across his face. Amara's heart pounded. Her mother was here. Her mother's eyes found hers immediately, sharp, yet filled with unspoken reassurance. She walked with the calm control of someone who had faced far greater dangers than a mall full of gawking strangers. The weight of silence pressed heavier with each step she took. The officer's bravado drained. He adjusted his belt, trying to mask the nervous twitch in his jaw. But the truth was undeniable. His mockery stood exposed. He had laughed at a child's truth, and now that truth was staring him down. Amara stood frozen. Her mother stopped beside her, placing a steady hand on her shoulder. No introduction, no speech, just presence. And in that presence, everything changed. The officer shifted his stance awkwardly. The crowd, once entertained, now watched with wide-eyed respect. What had begun as a spectacle ended as a lesson, etched silently into the faces of everyone present. In that instant, Amara felt the pride she had always carried quietly inside her rise to the surface. She wasn't invisible anymore. Dear audience, if you're enjoying this story, don't forget to like the video. It really helps. The officer said nothing. His smirk was gone, replaced by a silence heavier than words. He glanced down, then away, unwilling to meet the soldier's eyes. The laughter he'd unleashed minutes earlier had vanished into humiliation. Amara and her mother walked side by side, leaving whispers in their wake. But these whispers were different now. No one was laughing. No one doubted. The crowd parted, with quiet reverence, as if they had witnessed something beyond their ordinary lives. For Amara, the moment wasn't just about proving her words. It was about reclaiming the dignity that ridicule had tried to strip away. It was about showing that truth needs no defense. It carries its own weight. But the scene also echoed something larger. The way the world is quick to dismiss, quick to laugh, quick to question when the truth comes from someone who doesn't fit their expectations. Racism doesn't always roar. It sometimes sneers, sometimes mocks, sometimes hides in laughter. But when reality arrives, it silences every doubt. Amara's mother had given years of service to a nation that still judged her worth by appearances. That day, her truth walked into the mall, undeniable. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more powerful stories and new videos.